Alright guys, so hey guys, it is me, 80 Sports guys. Today we discuss about Ronald Koeman's future with FC Barcelona. So obviously guys, once again guys, Ronald Koeman, we lost 3-0 to Bayern Munich at the Camp Nou on Tuesday. And many people were wondering whether Koeman will stay or not. And before the match began guys, John Laporta stated that Koeman would not be sacked. And we know Koeman's been saying a lot of weird stuff recently. He said that thanks to me, Barcelona have the future. He said a lot of these kind of quotes. He was very, very vocal with that. I'm not going to get too much into that today because I want to discuss more about his future. But he did say a lot of stuff before the game against Bayern, leading up to it. And now a report has come out that he has 3 or 4 games. Now, as you can see, this report article that I found is 4 games. There's another site that said 3 games. For me, it's either 3 or 4. It's basically 3 or 4, realistically. Okay, I don't really think there's going to be more than 3 or more than 4. So let's go ahead and read what the article says right here, guys. So you can see right, guys. I'll read it to you guys. So an emergency meeting held immediately after the 3-0 hammering to Bayern Munich did not bring any radical changes in the team or on the sidelines. Ronald Koeman's continuity was a topic extensively discussed by Rafa Just, Matteo Alemany, and John Laporta in the meeting. But the consensus reached that it was too early to jump to any decisions. So yeah, guys, Ronald Koeman, he is going to stay just after the Bayern Munich game. They're not going to immediately make the decision yet, which I think I'll tell you my opinion a bit later, but let's just look at the article first. Javi McKill from AS reports that Koeman will have 4 games to prove himself at the Catalan club. The games against Granada, Cadiz, Levante, and Benfica will be crucial in deciding the Dutchman can use it. Any slip-up in these games will jeopardize his position. Moreover, the clash against Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano will not count in deciding his continuity. A defeat against Los Rojiblancos is considered acceptable under the notion of the growth or transition of the team. That said, the coming month becomes although more important for the Barcelona manager. The injury situation in the club goes from bad to worse, with Pedri and Jordi Alba now sidelined for close to a month. Koeman will now have to grind results against 4 quality oppositions with a depleted squad. Ansu Fati, Ousmane Dembele, Sergio Aguero, and Martin Braithwaite will not be able to help their manager save his position. It may be early in the season, but the possibility of Koeman being sacked is edging towards the reality. It will require a monumental effort from him to grind out the 12 points in 4 games. So, yeah, it was a good article. I think the article was definitely very good. I think this is a solid article, very brief, very much concise, which I think is great. So now let's go and discuss, guys. Let's go and discuss about these 4 opponents. Granada, Cadiz, Levante, Benfica. Interestingly enough, all 3 of these teams, with the exception of Benfica, we have drawn points against last season. So it is interesting in the sense that Koeman, Laporta is expecting wins. Expecting wins. And that realistically, guys, all 4 of the teams that we mentioned should be winnable games. Like, let's be real, guys. We should be winning against Granada. We should be winning against Cadiz. We should be winning against Levante. We really, honestly, should be winning against these teams. And for me, guys, more likely than not what's going to happen is that we're going to win against these teams. And then when it comes to the Atletico Madrid game, we'll probably get thrashed. I mean, I'm just being completely, brutally honest here. I believe, for me, guys, that when it comes to the big teams, Barcelona have failed miserably this season. These last 2 seasons, Barcelona have been horrendous in big games. I know it's a bit too early to say this season, considering this season just started. But I know that for a fact it's going to continue to the same, And I'm telling you this right now, guys. For me, guys, I think the big game should determine Koeman's continuity with the club. Because for me right now, guys, we will beat these teams, right? We will beat these mediocre teams most of the time. It's just the big teams we have struggled against massively. And that's going to ultimately define whether you win a trophy or not. Yes, it's of course very important to win against these mediocre teams, obviously. It obviously is, I'll say that. But you also need to win against the big teams. Like, to win a Champions League, you have to beat the best of the best. To win La Liga, you have to win the big games against Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla. These games, you have to win. And Copa del Rey, very similar as well, So, it's not as if you can't avoid big teams to win a trophy. You have to beat some big teams. It's not as simple as not beating. You have to. It is just part of it is, And I just feel like for me, guys, Ronald Koeman for me, guys, I just don't believe he's the guy to continue. I believe for me, he isn't the man to lead us forward. I believe for me, he has held this club so much backwards. And I feel like for me, we are declining. We're projecting downwards. Because I feel like for me, this Barcelona team even without Messi, it's still very decent. You still have some great players, as I said. You still have Ansu Fati, you still have Ousmane Dembele, you still have Memphis Depay, you still have Ronald Araujo, you still have Eric Garcia, you have Pedri de Jong, you still have some really quality players. This Barcelona team should be in the conversations of winning La Liga and the Copa del Rey. I can understand the Champions League. I understand that we're not capable of that. But we can at least compete in La Liga and in the Copa del Rey and the Supercopa as well. And so it is very, very clear that even though we're declining, obviously I'm very well aware of that, I still do believe that Koeman for me just isn't the guy. He isn't the guy for the job. He, for me, guys, just doesn't do it, man. His in-game management has been so poor. I haven't liked his in-game management. Substitution's been shocking. His in-game management is shocking. And the way he set up against Bayern Munich was such a disgraceful way. Because Barcelona, the Barcelona way, guys, is 4-3-3. It's 4-3-3 in and out. And for me, guys, even though we lost the game, obviously, I'm okay with us losing. It's the manner that we lost. We looked pathetic. We didn't do anything in that game. It was almost like a training match for Bayern Munich. And that's something we shouldn't be saying. It's a Champions League match. And it didn't even feel like a Champions League match. It felt like Bayern Munich were in second gear. Because for most of that game, guys, Bayern didn't even need to get into full gear. Because at least in that 8-2 game, Bayern had to get into first gear. It's not as if Bayern were in second gear. And this game, guys, on 3-0 loss, Bayern were in second gear for the majority of the game. They were not. They were passing the ball. They didn't really look all that convincing. And even their manager, Julian Nagelsmann, wasn't really that impressed with the win. I mean, obviously he's happy, very ecstatic, but even he himself didn't think the win was that great. And that's just saying a lot, that even if your own manager, just after winning 3-0, is still not that convinced, that says everything, man. That says everything, man. And so, for me, guys, I personally believe, for me, that this Ronald Koeman, for me, it's over, man. I feel like, for me, guys, we have to get a new coach. I just don't believe, for me, he's the guy for the job. For me, guys, he isn't going to work. And for me, it's almost as if Koeman just put out that team against Bayern. It's like, you know what? Let's just damage limitations. Let's try to not concede too many goals. Let's just try to go out there and just make sure that we don't concede that too many goals. That's literally the thing. It was almost as if he was like, you know what? I'll let you guys attack. We'll just defend. We'll just park the bus. And that, for me, is never Barcelona's identity. Is never Barcelona's identity. There is no identity with this team. That's also another very crucial point with Koeman, guys. Is that what identity does Barcelona have with Koeman? There is no identity. That, for me, is critical. When your team doesn't have an identity, you're going to struggle a lot. You're going to see a struggle a lot. And we have seen that very, very well this season. So, with that said, guys, we now move on to the replacements. So as you can see, let me go to the Twitter page, Barcelona Universal. I highly recommend to follow them on Twitter if you haven't already. So I believe there's a list of the replacements that are made. So who are the replacements? Let me see if I can find. Yeah, let's see. Where is it? Barca replacements. Okay, here we go. Here are the replacements, guys. So here are the replacements that, according to BTV Esports, the replacements for Ronald Koeman if he is to be sacked. Okay, so I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can see. Okay. So I think that's probably a little too big. Let's make it back to 125. Okay, I think that's good. So here are the following names, guys. You have Jordi Cruyff, Serge Brahman, Henrik Larsson, and Xavi Ten Hag. For me, guys, I particularly find it's interesting, right? Because for me, guys, what I've heard is that if Koeman was to be sacked, Jordi Cruyff would take over as the interim manager, and then we would get a new manager in the summer. And I just have this feeling that what's going to happen is that we're going to see that happen. I believe, for me, Koeman will not survive this entire season. Like, I feel like the earliest we'll see him get sacked is December. Okay? Because I have this feeling. This is what I think, guys. I think here's what's going to happen. I think Koeman will secure his job, and then when we play against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, or when we see that Champions League draw for the round of 16, and it's a very difficult opponent, then I think there is a potential possibility that he might get sacked that time. Because remember, guys, we will know a round of 16 opponent in December. We will know our opponent. Okay? And if we get a very tough draw, which I think we're going to get second in the group, or if we get third in the group, and we don't even get to the round of 16, then I think for sure he's getting sacked. For sure he's getting sacked. Okay? Or if poor results go in the league, as we mentioned, then I think it can also as well. So then I think Jordi Cruyff will take over Then I have a feeling that next summer we'll get Xavi. I think Xavi will happen, guys. I think Xavi's going to happen, whether we like it or not. Personally, for me, I like Xavi. I think he's a great manager for Al Saad. I think he's done really well over there. It's just I don't think I just am very skeptical whether he can do it here at Barcelona, because that, for me, the level in Spain is so different from the level of Qatar. Okay, Ten Hag for me ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. He renewed his contract with Ajax recently. Henrik Larsson, I'm not really too sure about him. I think he's the assistant manager right now. Serge Baron, I never even heard of this guy. Let me see. What is it? What's his thing? Let me see. What is he? So he's the he's the head coach of Barcelona B. Okay, I see. Okay. So yeah, for me guys, yeah, I don't think he's gonna get appointed. I think for me guys is Xavi. Xavi for me is gonna be the most likely of the bunch. So that's the situation with Ronald Koeman, guys. So let me reiterate once again, guys. He has 4 games to prove himself, and then if we do not pick up 12 out of 12 points, I think he might get sacked. He might. Okay. So we'll see what happens, man. These 4 games are gonna be very critical for the future now, and that these 4 games could determine whether Koeman will stay or not. Hey, we got to keep this in mind, guys. Let's look at the fixtures list, because you guys know the dates, you guys know the games, but now you guys need to know when the games are going to happen. So our next game is going to be Granada, which is going to be on Monday, then Cadiz on Thursday, Levante Sunday, and then Wednesday, Benfica. So you can see right there, guys, that the games are coming up in a very much condensed schedule. There's going to be a lot of games in a short amount of time. You got like 4 games within a span of 10 days. Which is going to be critical, guys. So within 10 days from now, guys, we will know whether Koeman will stay or not. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update for this, guys. I feel like it was very necessary to do so. And I want you guys to comment down below. What do you guys think of Ronald Koeman? Do you guys think he's the man for the job? I personally think he isn't. If I was John Laporte, I would sack him now. I would literally sack him right now. Because honestly, guys, I just don't think we're going anywhere with Ronald Koeman. For me, we're not going anywhere. And the club is... yeah, we're not going anywhere. So that's it for today, guys. So I want you guys to comment down below what you guys think of this, guys. Remember, guys, to check on me and my other platforms if you haven't already. My Twitter, my Discord, and my Twitch. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.